to wake up. It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game.
Come on! Dodger! You're a 77-win team! You're boring! It's horrible! It is horrible!
Nick in San Jose, where are you at? I need early version. I need 5 a.m. Nick in San Jose. He's not even a Giants fan. That's the most passion I've heard from Giants talk from a caller this year on 95.7 The Game. That's just a fact. From a non-Giants fan. And yeah, we're opening the show Giants today. Good morning. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's a pregame show. Joe Spadoni here for the next hour. You got me. We got a lot to get into. 49ers training camp starting tomorrow. We're going to be all over that. Fred Warner, I'm already going to say it. Guy's going to be a future Hall of Famer if he stays healthy. Knock on wood. He joined Willard and Dibbs yesterday. A tremendous interview there. You can find that entire thing on YouTube or the Odyssey app. By the way, we are streaming on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Go ahead and search 95.7 The Game. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. You can give me a follow at Spadoni_Joe. And also be sure to hit us up at 888-957-9570. That's the number to call or text the Xfinity mobile text line. And as I mentioned, be sure to download that Odyssey app. It's free, and you can take us wherever you want to go, coast to coast, LA, Chicago, Miami, doesn't matter. And of course, we are the most international show here in the Bay Area because we got people chiming in from Australia, the Netherlands, we got Argentina, we get Brazil, we've gotten Russia before. Yeah, we're not excommunicated there. All right, we're still good. We're not banned. Not yet. But give us some time. That was a stinker yesterday for the San Francisco Giants. It's calling it what it is. 3-2 the final. Teoscar Hernandez driving in all 3 runs as the Giants lose 3 of 4 heading out of this All-Star break. And it's just not a great baseball team. That's just what it is right now as we're, 7-8 days ahead of the Major League Baseball trade deadline. They don't play complementary baseball. In order to succeed here in this sport, you have to do 2 of 3 things well. And right now, the Giants seemingly can only do one of those things well. And that's more so recently. But you need to score. You need a good bullpen. And you need good starting pitching. That's basically it. Now, you could divvy up that how you want. And, home runs, hard hit contact. You can get into the nitty gritty of all that. But that's basically it. You need to score runs. You need to stop the other team from scoring runs in critical times. And you need your pitchers, your starting pitchers specifically, to give you 5 or 6 innings. Well, Blake Snell, the last 3 outings, has done that. I mean, this guy, he's looking like Blake Snell. He's looking like Cy Young Blake Snell. And this has been his track record. Look, you go into any of his seasons, he'll go into last year. He struggled in that first half mightily. And then what? Won the Cy Young. So he goes 6 innings. Against Minnesota, he goes 7. And then prior to that, against Toronto, he goes 5. So just doing my little robot, my little Bonte robot. 18 innings pitched in his last 3 outings, giving up only 2 earned runs with 15 strikeouts. Looks pretty good to me. Now, this is going to be the question for the coming week. And maybe it's already easy to just answer that question. And maybe just a week ago it wasn't. But it's becoming more and more clear to me that they need to sell. The San Francisco Giants need to be sellers at this deadline. They cannot be, pussyfooting around here if you're Farhan Zaidi and just, maybe we'll give up a Tyro Estrada and a Mike Yastrzemski and, do a little buying too. It's like, no. You need some high-level prospects in return here because I don't think Blake Snell's coming back here. Oh, Spadoni, you don't know that. No, I do. Because this is how these contracts go. Blake Snell's going to be phenomenal in the second half. He's going to opt out and get that fat paycheck that he was looking for this past offseason. Or you get sold, you get some prospects back for him, you get something for him, all right? And then he re-signs with that team that he goes to, or he goes somewhere else. Or you want to stick your hand back in the pot and see if he wants to come back, which he probably won't, given just certain comments and stuff that he said throughout this season in regards to not pushing himself back and kind of insinuating the Giants are kind of pushing him and stuff like that. So Blake Snell's the guy for me. And if you have other names that you think the Giants should move off, I mentioned Tyro Estrada, who seems to be struggling mightily all season long, still relatively young. Another team might want to take a chance on him. Mike Yastrzemski, how much left is in that tank, right? Guys like that. But as far as like the Birdsongs, the Harrisons, Hicks, I think you're keeping all those guys. Obviously, Logan Webb. Is Camilo Doval someone you consider moving off from? What's his value around the league? I think you could use a plus arm and a closer. A guy was just an all-star last year. So his value cannot have tanked that much to me. I know it's been a struggle at times this year. But he just did record a save. Hey, if we're just going stock up, stock down, stock is up right now. So I'm looking at him. I'm looking at Blake Snell. And again, last night, not that it was the nail in the coffin, I think it just solidified a couple things for me. This team does not play complementary baseball. It hasn't all season long. And if you're only going to be good at one thing, and right now that's kind of the starting pitching, and that's even a stretch. And yes, the bullpen did well yesterday at times. But again, if the offense isn't doing anything and you can't even overcome 3 runs, like the writing's on the wall. The Giants have the 3rd worst run differential in the National League. It's crazy. They're tied with the St. Louis Cardinals, who are also a negative 32. But the Cardinals, they've been a lot hotter than you over their last stretch. They're 52 and 48. They're locked in the wild card. Oh, but the Giants are only 4 back. We're going to be doing this all season long. And I think it's that false hope of that 3rd wild card that really gets fans, unfortunately. And I get it. Because all you want to do is you want to get in, oh, but the Diamondbacks, oh, they did this. You have a $200 million payroll. Yeah, and it didn't work. You have a $200 million payroll and you have the 3rd worst run differential, and it's almost August. That's the problem. It's just not good enough. 4-1-5, situational hitting. Matos can't strike out with man on third with less than 2 outs. And Luis Matos, God love the guy. That's a young guy I want to see more of, but they're platooning him. Like, how are you supposed to build confidence as a young player if you're not getting reps every single day? Just getting spot starts or spot inserted every now and then. It's not going to bode well for a young player. And Elliot Ramos, well, he's coming back down to earth a little bit. Tyler Fitzgerald, nice game. Ramos, but another 0-for performance from him. Liked what I saw from Patrick Bailey. 2 hits, got the walk, discerning. But Chapman, batting .230. That's what you're getting from him. That's just what he's been his whole career, .240. Jorge Soler, got a walk, great. I'm going to bring you in to get a walk. You need some bomb skis. Great. You hit the longest home run of the season in Coors Field. Awesome. Batting .223. Lamont Wade showed some signs of life yesterday. Got a run, got a couple hits. It's great. How long until he's back on the IL? I hate to say that, but it's just, that's the reality of this team. You're leaning guys that always get hurt. You're leaning on those guys. Brett Wisely, having a good year overall. 0 for yesterday. So for all the Giants fans and everyone that thought this was going to be the make or break week for them, and coming out of the All-Star game, you got all those games against the Rockies and got the Dodgers in between. If you can just tread water. Well, they've lost 3 of 4. So are you jumping into the boat of being a sellers, or are you saying, Spadoni, no, we got to hold on. They're only 4 game out. of that wild card spot. I still believe in this team, and we should be buyers. Farhan Zaidi, he's in such an interesting spot, the president of baseball operations for the San Francisco Giants. Because just a couple months ago, he was speaking to Susan Slusser of the San Francisco Chronicle, and Bonte and I, when I was filling in for Shasky, did a whole show on this. He was saying there's a lot at stake for him this year. And I want to say this is before he re-signed that contract or re-upped his contract with the San Francisco Giants. Not that that means anything per se, because we've seen in any sport, basketball, football, baseball, contract means nothing. You can fire the guy in the year and it's just, we'll eat that, whatever. Doesn't affect the salary cap, doesn't affect any of that. But he said there's a lot at stake for him this year. Why do I have this bad feeling that even if the Giants are sellers and they don't make the playoffs, that he's sticking around? Doesn't that feel like that's what's going to happen? There's no accountability with this team. You could say, oh, but they're building something. They've been building something for, 6 years. 6 years. And where does it got you? It's gotten you the third worst run differential on July 23rd, 2024. In the National League, they have the third worst run differential, and they are almost the third worst team in the National League, about a half game better than the Washington Nationals. Oh, but they're only 4.5 back. Great. It's awesome. Blake Snell talking about his performance yesterday, and a better version of him still to come.
I'm getting there. I still think the better version of me still coming. I just think, I don't know, it's hard to say without giving stuff away, but I'm definitely going to keep getting better. I feel comfortable. I feel like I have a good mindset right now, and we'll continue to build.
The slider to Hernandez, it seemed like it was in a little bit. Were you surprised he got there?
Yeah. I mean, my sequences with him the whole game were not what I would have liked, but it was his day today, so hats off to him. Good swings.
Again, I'm selling this guy as soon as I can. Listen, we got a Yankees fan chiming in at 510. I'm a Yankee fan. That's baseball today. Nobody hits for average these days. Look at the Yankees roster. I think 2 guys are hitting above 260, and can name 2 of them. Other than that, it's a bunch of 200, 250 guys. The thing with the Yankees, though, is they hit for power. Look at their run differential, plus 109. And I get it. Run differential is not the end-all, be-all. I hate leaning on that, but I do think it paints a picture here for the Giants and for a team like the Yankees, who are first in the wild card in the American League, who are right there for their division in the AL East, who have been dealing with injuries to starting pitching. Again, by the way, a guy that Yankees could use, a guy like Blake Snell. Bolster that team, right? That's how I'm looking at all these AL contenders specifically. If I'm the Orioles, if I'm the Guardians, if I'm, the Astros, who took an L yesterday in the Oakland Coliseum. They got shut out, by the way. Hogan Harris. All right, I'll play it. Hold on. I know my guy Oreo Cookie gets mad at me if I don't. There we go. Hit it. It's a big win. Miguel Andujar's been balling this year, by the way. Every time I look up, he always has a double. I think J.J. Bleday has 7 straight or something like that. It's an Oakland record, I believe. Last guy to do it was Tony Kemp back in 2022. 7 straight games with a double. So there you go. Celebrate. Days get the dub. They won 3-4. Opposite of the Giants. But days are going nowhere fast. Well, they're going to Sacramento. And then nowhere fast. Yeah, it pains me. I still have to get out to a game there this year. I know. They're going to do it for my buddy's bachelor party. You can say Spadoni. That sounds so lame. I don't know. So one last big hurrah there at the Coliseum. Do a little pre-gaming at the Coliseum. Bachelor party before the big night in the city. That sounds kind of fun. That sounds fun. I'm the best man. I'm keeping this speech short, though. A couple months. It'll be a destination wedding in Hawaii. Always keep it short, right? Best man speech. I mean, I feel like I should be good at that, considering I talk for an hour straight here every morning at 5 a.m. It's a different kind of, expectations, though, when you're talking to the beautiful people and the lovely people, working graveyard shifts or just getting off work or getting ready for the week, whatever, getting ready for vacation. Good morning to all of you. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. That's the number to call or text the Xfinity Mobile text line. It's different when I'm talking to these people. I feel like I'm Bob Fitzgerald when I talk to you guys.
I live with these people. I love these people. They're part of my family.
And although my best friend is like my brother from another mother, he is part of my family. I don't know, all those other people that are coming from his future missus. So that's why it gets a little nervous, but hey, I'm going to be in Hawaii. I'm going to be feeling great. I probably going to have a couple like Mai Tais in me already. I'm just going to wing it. See what happens. Just keep it short too. I'm not going to ramble on like I'm doing, talking about it. 510, send Blake Snell, please. That's from the Yankee fan, I think. Listen, all that's true in regards to average for this Giants team and stuff like that, Mr. Yankee fan 510. But they need to score runs. That's all. That's just what I'm saying. And they're just not a team that does that. If it's the bullpen doing its thing, then it's the starting pitching giving it up. If it's the starting pitching doing its thing and Blake Snell doing his thing, then it's Randy Rodriguez giving it up. If it's, the team hitting, then it's the starters and the bullpen not doing it. It's just complimentary baseball 101, and the Giants just can't execute it. Say what you will about the Dodgers right now, who I know they're 19 games over. They've kind of been struggling a little bit, although after the All-Star game, they've been red hot. They've won 4 straight. They swept the Boston Red Sox, who also have lost 4 straight. Yikes. That was a crazy. I don't know if you guys saw that game yesterday in Colorado. It's just nuts. Lead change after lead change after lead change. My guy Tovar, or is it Toval? Tovar, right? Ezekiel Tovar. We just saw him. Yeah. Another walk-off. It's just all he does, apparently. Yeah, Rockies even got a young guy to be excited about. This guy, Tovar, out of Venezuela. He's only 22. Not mad at it. But it's the Rockies. He'll probably do nothing for a couple of years, and they'll trade him for a couple of prospects they'll never hear of again, and that's just the cycle it goes for some teams in Major League Baseball, and it's a vicious, vicious cycle. Shout out, fat bastard. All right. Dave Fleming, our guy, usually with the morning roast, joined Willard and Dibbs yesterday. You can find that entire interview on YouTube or on the free Odyssey app. Can we trust Farhan when he says selling at the deadline? Well, you know what? Let's just let Dave Fleming take it away. I just like that. Can we trust Farhan? I'll leave it there, Dave.
I don't think I've ever been around a front office executive who is more open and honest publicly than Farhan. I mean, almost without exception in my memory, when he says something to you guys, to us, to whomever, when he says it, he means it. And I think if you look back on, the sort of the way he's steered this franchise, he has been extremely transparent about his priorities, what he's thinking. He's just an honest guy. And so when he said that, I paid close attention. I did not think it was sort of like lip service or, appeasement or whatever. I just thought that's how he's feeling. So the second question is, are they willing to, if this week doesn't go well, if the next, however many 9 days don't go well, are they willing to sell? That's probably, ultimately it's Farhan's call, but it's probably a sort of a big picture franchise call. You're not going to see, I don't see any scenario where there's some sort of like tear down at the deadline. That almost never happens anyway, no matter what a team is going through. But yeah, if they don't play better this week, could I see a couple trades where the Giants are giving away veteran players as opposed to adding them? I could see that, yeah.
That's just where they are. And the guy, again, the main fish here I'm talking about, the bonita fish, the white whale, is Blake Snell. Just given his last 3 starts, again, this guy's been great. He's looking like old Blake Snell. 18 innings pitched, 15 Ks, only 2 earned runs in his last 3 starts. I think we're going to see more and more of that going forward. And a contender could sure use a guy like that. And the Giants could sure use some more depth and young pieces to build around. Is it Camilo Doval? Another guy you start thinking about. As I mentioned earlier, Dave Fleming.
I think this is a performance league, and I think Camilo has earned some benefit of the doubt, but I think he's also used up a lot of that with the way he's performed this year. He just hasn't pitched nearly as well as he has in the past. And so, do I think that it's on a appearance by appearance basis, his role there? Maybe not quite like that, but I think that he is on notice that the results have to be there. Otherwise, that job is not guaranteed to him. And that's not, let's just say he got called into the office and yelled at or something like that. But I think he knows that it is not a birthright for him to be the closer of this team. And if he doesn't pitch better, that job is probably going to go to somebody else because he hasn't pitched very well. Like he just hasn't. There's no way. How could you deny that? How could he deny that? So it was an encouraging step yesterday, really important just psychologically. That's where I give him a pass because he did a couple things again yesterday that frustrated me, but I give him a pass because it's hard, man, when everything's kind of piling against you and you're feeling like I can't make one mistake. That is a hard mind space to be in. So I'm giving him a little leeway for a couple of those things yesterday because he got through it and built some confidence, and I hope we see him again tonight.
Did not see him yesterday, but, them the breaks. Again, he got the save. Stock is up. If you want to sell him, now's the time. I don't think they're going to, just because, again, the stock might not be the highest for him. You got to sell Snell, though. I know we were talking about it. Bonte did his don't sell Snell thing, and that kind of came to iteration when I was filling for Shasky. I think you got to sell him. Sell as much as you can of the vets, right, that aren't going to be helping you going forward. Again, the guys already listed off. Keep Hicks. Got Webb. I like what I've seen from Birdsong. You keep Harrison. I'm okay with that going forward. Doval, if you want to, see if he could get it back, sure. You think his act is kind of worn thin in San Francisco? Maybe you just move off of him for them when his stock is not very high. And finally, last one from Fleming here, because I want to transition to some 49ers football on the other side. This Giants team, and listen, they have the opportunity to write their own script heading into the trade deadline, and it's nut up or shut up time. If they get swept here, or hell, they lose the series, hell, even if they split the series and they take one or they take 2 or 3 against the Rockies, I still think they're sellers. Or they should be, at least. Because this team's not fooling anyone right now. They're just not. Here's Flem talking about if their performance this week will determine whether they're buyers or sellers.
Yes, we have reached that point. I agree. I think that is true. I mean, that sounds kind of crazy when you play 162 games, that 8 games could determine that, but I think that is the case here. And I think, I guess you could play out different scenarios, but my gut tells me if the Giants players and coaches want the front office to go out there and make an aggressive deal to help them, it's got to be like a 6-2, 7-1 week. And if it's not, I don't think that move is coming. I don't. And you know what? I agree with Farhan in his sentiment. I'm not sure, I'm not weighing in on the judgment of this team and the potential of this team, but just the idea of the players dictate whether you make those kind of moves. The way the team performs on the field dictates what you do. And you have to show the front office that this is a team that's worthy of giving up a part of your future to make a move for now. Otherwise, it's going to be either status quo or, possibly a trade in the other direction. I don't expect that's going to happen, but this team needs a really good week if they want the front office to go out and add.
And so far, that week has not been great. Falling to the Dodgers yesterday, final score 3-2. Again, Teoscar Hernandez, who's just been such a good signing for them. Around the season, you look at the numbers, just batting .268. He just won the home run derby, which, I don't know, you can say whatever, but that's fun. It's fun for a fan base. 21 jacks, 67 RBIs, 821 OPS. He's just been a good player for them. He's been the consistent player that they've needed with, obviously, Mookie Betts being out of the lineup. You got Freddie Freeman there. You already got Ohtani. By the way, I got Eric Miller on Shohei Ohtani. He's 0 against him. That was filthy. Filth. Love that. But all for naught because Teoscar comes up next after Will Smith walks. And then, there it is. As I do my best, Jeff Goldblum. Who's Dr. Malcolm? That's who it is, right? And there it is. And there it was. on the San Francisco Giants because I want to get into some 49ers football, baby. We got training camp starting tomorrow. I'm so excited to talk football. And I always do this to myself. I get reeled into football, then my heart breaks because my team stinks. My fantasy football team stinks, but damn it, I love it anyways. It's still real to me, damn it. It was real. 49ers and their chances of getting back to a Super Bowl. It is real still, and it's spectacular, but can they do it? They got the pieces, they got the weaponry, they got the head coach, but there's some question marks that I want to dive into on the other side, so we'll get to that. I want to hear from Fred Warner, what he had to say yesterday on Willard and Dibbs as well. Find that entire interview again on the Odyssey app or on YouTube, all powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Go ahead and search 95.7 The Game on any of those platforms. Plus, more of your calls, more of your texts. What's your biggest question mark? As the 49ers head into training camp tomorrow, and we'll be live and local there, Morning Roast, Steiny and Goo, from the Hilton Santa Clara. Come say hi if you're going to training camp. Bonte Hill, Joe Shasky, Daryl the Guru Johnson, Matt Steinmetz, Sam Lubman. Catch out that flow. He'll be there. What's your biggest question facing this team as we head into training camp? 888-957-9570. That's my question to you. Hopefully you provide that for me on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
It's Joe Shasky, and my family has a long history with UA Local 38 plumbers, pipe fitters, and steam fitters, and they're looking.
Oh, man. I don't know if it's breaking news, but we've got something developing. I mean, Sam, I don't know if you heard this. Apparently, LeBron and Drake, there's a rift between them. I mean, LeBron's just been hanging out and listening to too much Kendrick Lamar. I don't think Drake likes it very much. It's just, I don't know what to do with this. This is truly groundbreaking stuff. All right, back to football. Just, come on. I don't care. That came across my time. I was like, of all the things that are happening in the world right now, that is one that I do not care about. Just, Drake ignores LeBron James and fans find reasons for his controversial decision. Drake breaks silence on LeBron James' rift, subtly nods to his true supporters and Kendrick Lamar beef. Shut up. I don't care. I saw LeBron James take over for Team USA yesterday, though. That much I did see. Why are we relying on a 40-year-old man still in the sport of basketball to carry us to victories against Germany when they have four NBA players on that team? And I get it. It's different. Like, if we're just doing that, then yes. If we're just going by NBA players, then the Team USA should always handle it. But that's just not the case. It's talent versus teams when it comes to basketball in Team USA. It's our talent versus the world's teams in team play. Now, our individual talent is usually good enough, and has been, was it 3 or 4 straight gold medals for us? It's been good enough to carry because we've just been so good. I mean, when you got the likes of Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Tyrese Halliburton, Bam Adebayo, just goes on and on. Derek White, who's not on those guys' level, but still pretty damn good compared to the rest of the world and their players. And you look at Germany yesterday, and again, Team USA edged Germany. We'll get back into football here in just a second because I want to hear what Fred Warner had to say yesterday. But they eke by Germany. They got Franz Wagner on that team. Obviously, just got signed that massive contract, same class as Jonathan Kuminga. Wagner plays for the Orlando Magic. You got Mo Wagner, who also plays for the Magic, got drafted by the Lakers out of Michigan. Not as good as his brother Franz, but big guy, 6'11". He's got some athleticism, some. You got Daniel Tice, who's a, rotational guy. He's a big. He can knock down a 3 occasionally. I've always liked Tice. Solid player. And then Dennis Schroeder. And we all know about Dennis Schroeder. He's an irritant. He'll guard at a pretty good level. I mean, I thought the job he did against Stephen Curry in the Western Conference semis last year was a pretty damn good job. So they have some solid players. But outside of that, it's probably guys you've never heard of. Got fringe guys in the G League or playing the Euro Leagues. So people are going to be all freaking out. Oh, again, this team lost to Nigeria a couple years ago. Nigeria were 28-point dogs, and they beat Team USA. Oh, my God, the sky's falling. Oh, no. Relax. We might lose a game here in the early pool. The USA is winning the gold. Lock it in. It's happening. Again, though, the discourse when it comes to Steve Kerr, just you'll know when Team USA is playing and men's basketball is playing if you just look and if you're on social and you see Kerr trending. That's when you know. It's probably a close game. All right. You know what was a close game? The Super Bowl. Went to overtime. God, the 49ers were close. How many times have we heard that? Oh, they were close. Oh, they had a lead in the fourth. Oh. But Patrick Mahomes. Oh, but Joe Flacco. Oh, but Matt Stafford. We've heard it time in and time out. And if I'm a 49er fan, I'm fed up. I'm done. I'm sick of it. What more do we have to do to win a damn Lombardi trophy? I get it. I mean, if you feel that way, how do you think the players feel? Fred Warner, Willard and Dibbs yesterday. Is it a difficult start to start over in training camp?
It's tough, but at the end of the day, man, I think for me, I love the game so much. It's like the first day of school all over again. Every single time I go back for training camp, seeing the fellas, man, getting back in the building, it always feels like the first one, man, honestly. And so I'm so excited for this year. You mentioned it, what our expectations are, what our standard is here that we've been able to build up to. And I think it's an honor to have that type of pressure on us, and that's just what our standard is, no matter what.
Yeah, but this pressure feels different. Like this is going to feel, and I could be off base here, but this has a makings of a tense year in San Francisco. It just does. And it's not easy to start the season. The Jets are a tough team. Like that's not an easy, that's a layup at home. It's not against the Carolina Panthers or the Atlanta Falcons or anything like that. No. It's the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers is a future Hall of Famer. Say what you will about all of his antics, all the talking. God, he's been doing a lot of talking. Too much talking, but we'll leave that there. And this isn't New York Jets. This isn't Get Up. I'm not devoting 3 hours of Aaron Rodgers talk. I'm not going to allow that to happen. He's a good player, though. Coming off torn Achilles. Probably the mobility is not going to be what it once was. Guy's 40 years old. He's old. But they got a good offense. They've got good weaponry. They've got a great defense. Sauce Gardner is a problem. Garrett Wilson, a problem. Robert Saleh knows Kyle Shanahan's offense very well. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the start of the season kind of shapes this full upcoming season for the San Francisco 49ers. That's the word I'm going to be using, though. I think it's going to be tense. You're going to feel the pressure because it is so hard. Again, I just got to keep reiterating this because I think a lot of fans, and we're delusional as fans sometimes. We are. That's okay. That's what makes us fans. It is so hard to lose a Super Bowl and then get back there. It is one of the hardest things to do, whether it's baseball, whether it's basketball, but definitely football. To lose in the biggest game and try to get back to that. Hell, winning it and trying to get back. I know we just saw them repeat the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. That is the outlier. That was the first time since the, 03-04 Patriots? Like, it doesn't happen. I always get the years confused. 02, 03, I always forget. But it just doesn't happen. And now they're talking about three-peating in Kansas City, which is just sick, disgusting. Ugh. Oh, God, I think they might do it too, which is even more disgusting to think about. But for San Francisco, it starts with one guy and one guy only. And you can go Kyle Shanahan, and yes, he will have the most pressure on him. I think that's without a doubt. Can see that on his face at times. It weighs on him. It's like those presidential picks, the before and afters. Just look at Kyle Shanahan right when he took over the 49ers. Look at up till now. Oof, it's night and day. It's stressful. I get it. But it's all on Brock Purdy. If Brock Purdy is who we all think he is, and is that MVP candidate that he was a top 5, top 6 quarterback, whatever you want to say last year, if he is that guy, truly, then yes, the 49ers can get back to the Super Bowl. If he struggles at all, though, and he shows inconsistency and he's not, and you can say, Spadoni, why would he even do that? He hasn't shown you that. Hey, guys turn back into pumpkins all the time. Guys regress all the time. Not to say he can't be a good player, not to say he still can't get paid, but I've seen guys and quarterbacks regress. I saw that happen to Cam Newton, getting all the way to the Super Bowl. Never got back. Never sniffed it again. Different player, plays with different athleticism, body broke down. I get it. But these things happen. I've seen players get all the way there and never reach those heights again. Would I be shocked if Joe Burrow never went back to another Super Bowl? No, I would not be. Not to say that Joe Burrow isn't a good quarterback. It's just how hard it is. Josh Allen might never reach it. Why? Patrick Mahomes is in his conference. The guy just named Joe Burrow's in his conference. Lamar Jackson's in his conference. That's why I think it's so important for Brock Purdy to get off to a good start again, just for the confidence of him, but not just for him, but for the team. Your lasting image all offseason is an overtime loss to Kansas City, where the offense looked pedestrian. The defense, I thought, played their hearts out, and it still wasn't enough. You had Patrick Mahomes on 4th and 2, and he scrambled for a first down. He finds Kelsey. He finds it's Patrick Mahomes, guy's Houdini. And it's maddening, it's sickening, but that's what has been molding these players' thoughts all offseason. And that's the motivation they're going to use this upcoming season. 888-957-9570. I'm going to get to your questions. I see a lot of them. 510-650-831 on the Xfinity Mobile text line. The number one question for you in regards to the San Francisco 49ers heading into training camp, which is tomorrow again. So can't wait for that. Again, we'll be live at the Hilton Santa Clara from 6 to 10, 10 to 2. Bonte Shasky, Steiny Goo, Hilton Santa Clara. If you're going to training camp, be sure to stop by and say hi to those gentlemen. Should be a good time. Is it Brandon Ayuk in his contract? Is that the biggest question mark? Is it, again, Brock Purdy? Contract here. Is Kyle Shanahan? Do you have any question marks on him? Is it the defense? Is it Debo? Is it Kittle? Is it Ricky Pearsall? Is it Nick Bosa? All that and more on 95.7 The Game.
It's the greatest 3 words of all time. Football is back.
The greatest formation that the Niners have is...
95.7 The Game.
Adam is too much for me.
I gotta get the out of here before I lose my life. I ain't never been hit this many times in my career. Every game I get up.
God, that clip never gets old. Devontae Adams, receiver doc on Netflix, and just poor guy. He might be getting out of there, depending on the start for the Raiders next year. But right now, we're talking about the San Francisco 49ers. 888-957-9570. Got one more segment before handing it off to Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky, who, again, will be live from the Hilton Santa Clara tomorrow, starting at 6 a.m. They'll be there tomorrow and Thursday. So can't wait for all that breakdown. They're going to be there live. Go say hi to them. Go say what's up. They love it. And then after them, Steiny and Guru will be there from 10 to 2.
It's bothering me. I can't see it. I want them to send a message.
I love it. You can just start playing Guru drops. That's kind of what I do. When in doubt, you can play a Guru drop and it will make sense for something. That's just what he does. He's content king. Just the drops per host here, it's got to be Guru, like number one by a lot. Like if we're doing a poll, it's by a wide margin. It's Daryl the Guru Johnson. You got Steiny, you got Bonte, you got Shasky, Dibbs, Willard, but it's cool and it's not even close. Not even close. Like you play his drops on any show, pregame show, morning roast, Willard Dibbs, best of the game. I don't know if Grandy plays drops best of the game, but he can if he wants to. Weekends on the game, Devone, E-Dog. Sam Lubman, by the way, doing a hell of a job last week, him and Devone. And new Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys pod dropped today. Recorded yesterday, dropped today. Sam Lubman, Joe Shasky, breaking down that horrible weekend in Colorado and getting their thoughts ahead of the trade deadline. So Giants lose yesterday at the final score 3-2. We talked about it the first segment. If you missed any of it, download the Odyssey app, hit the rewind feature. You can find me there or find us on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all powered by First NorCal Credit Union. And go check out Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys podcast, an Odyssey podcast featuring, again, Sam Lubman and Joe Shasky. But right now we're talking San Francisco 49ers football. And before we hit the break, we played some sound from Fred Warner. And, asked if it was difficult to start over, basically, in training camp. Yeah, everyone's at ground zero. Everyone's 0-0. And the 49ers were an overtime period away from hoisting their 6th Lombardi trophy. Didn't happen. Instead, Patrick Mahomes hoisted his 3rd Lombardi trophy. Kansas City's 4th overall, and back-to-back for the wrong red and gold team. Or is it red? Do they even say red and gold? I think everyone does. No one says yellow. Even though the Chiefs is more of a yellow, Niners more of a gold, but no one says yellow. Because gold just sounds poppy. It's fresh, it's clean, all that sort of stuff. They never want to say the word yellow, but it is. I get it. I get why, but come on. Let's be honest here. It's yellow. Fred, and speaking of that Super Bowl, a lasting image for me is Dre Greenlaw getting hurt, right? And Greenlaw going down, that coincides with Kelsey just running amok in that secondary, in that second half, especially in that fourth quarter, and him just running onto the field. And he had been dealing with that calf strain. He had been dealing with that Achilles strain, and it gave way, and it sucks. And it was brutal to watch. It was hard to watch. Fred was damn near in tears. I think he was in tears. And here is Fred talking about Dre's recovery and the rest of that linebacking core. And again, they're going to have to pick up the slack. It's Fred Warner, and who's going to step up? Because there's no Greenlaw, and he is the tone setter in training camp. I do know that. Fred on his buddy Dre Greenlaw's recovery.
Dre's doing great. Obviously what happened to him in the Super Bowl was just it was hard to wrap your mind around, really. It was so sad to see him go down in that moment. I mean, he was having, I think, a career game. You could tell that he was going to possibly be the Super Bowl MVP the way he was playing, man. And so for him to go down, that was tough for me. That was tough for our team. But he's as good as he can be, man. He's on track. He's obviously, on track to get back and recover, and really good with his energy and everything, man. So he's doing really well. I'm excited about our linebacking group, man. I think obviously Dre is going to have to take his time with recovery, but the guys that we have coming in his spot, I think we got a lot of young talent. We obviously signed Devondre Campbell in the offseason, which is a great addition for us. So I'm excited about it, man.
We'll see what the linebacking core has in stock. Is that one of your big question marks heading into training camp and heading into the season? I want to know your questions. 888-957-9570. Man, 925, not a fan of the guru drops and the rage takes. Jeez, all right. It's fine. Hey, you be you. I love Goo, though. He's all passion. You say rage, I say passion. 510, it's from Oreo Cookie. Pressure is a privilege. Enjoy the journey. That's your message for San Francisco. All right. Again, it's going to be very hard, I think, to enjoy the journey this year for Niners fans. You have gone to the Super Bowl 3 times since 2010. You've gone to the Super Bowl 3 times and taken 3 L's. It's so hard to sell. Yeah, let's get back. Let's just try to get back into this one. It's very difficult to do. Now, the great thing about football is we'll always talk ourselves into it about a week before. Every single team has a chance. You might laugh. You might say, that's not true. The Carolina Panthers have no chance. Well, I thought last year the Houston Texans had no chance. I thought they were awful. I like CJ Stroud. I thought they're going to be like maybe a 5 or 6 win team, maybe a little bit better. I didn't see a playoff team. I didn't see them having Baltimore on the ropes in the first half. I didn't see that coming. And now they're one of the best stories, and people are talking to them as a dark horse to go to the Super Bowl. I think that's a little strong, but hey, one season can change everything. Maybe that's the Chicago Bears this year and Caleb Williams. Maybe they're the team in the NFC that makes a run. And now the Niners, instead of, think of the Niners as the clear class, now everyone else is catching up to them. Again, I mentioned yesterday, it's the Niners on this tier number 1. If you can't see my hands moving, well, visualize it. And then you got Lions on tier 2. And then I think there's a drop off. And then there's, if you want to put the Eagles on their own tier, that's fine, but that's tier 3. And I got 2 teams right now. I got the Lions and I got the Niners. And then we'll see what happens. And things could happen with expectations this year. Maybe the Lions take a step back. Maybe they got all these expectations and all these, eager fans, and maybe they faceplant. It's going to be a tough division, man. If we're looking at all the divisions and all the competitive divisions, obviously the AFC is its own beast. But let's just keep it to the NFC for now. The NFC North is going to be a gauntlet. Got the Vikings there. We'll see what they're doing. They still got Justin Jefferson. They re-signed him. They still got Addison. Should be a fun offense. Obviously, they got TJ Hawkinson. But the quarterback, is it going to be Darnold? Oh, God. Like, really? You just drafted J.J. McCarthy? You're not going to see what you got in him? Come on.
Seen ghosts.
Yeah, you don't want that. So you got them. They'll be a scrappy team. I don't think a playoff team anyone's expecting. But you got the Bears. We'll see what's going to happen with Caleb Williams this year. They got a fun offense if everything goes to plan. Roma Dunze, baller coming out of Washington. Keenan Allen has been a baller since coming out of Cal. Was a baller for the Los Angeles/San Diego Chargers. Got Montez Sweat, huge acquisition. Paid him. He was a baller for you last year. That defense started coming on late last year. It is ferocious. You got the Lions, as I mentioned. You re-signed Jared Goff. You re-signed Amon-Ra St. Brown. Got all these guys. Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs. List goes on and on and on. Got Dan Campbell. Kind of just feels like the pulse of that city right now. And then you got the Packers. What's going to go on Jordan Love? And yes, we are on Jordan Love watch because apparently he is going to be signing potentially the richest contract now. Every new contract for a quarterback is the richest in NFL history, right? And per year, whatever, however they do it. So we're on that watch, and how's that going to affect the quarterback market going into next season when it's time for the 49ers to pay Brock Purdy? We shall see. So we'll continue to monitor that situation. But they added Josh Jacobs this offseason. They have Christian Watson. They have, Matt LaFleur, a guy that's been so close. Again, a guy that's been there. That conference title game just hasn't broke through like his former assistant coaches and guys that he used to work with on that staff back in Washington, Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay, who have gotten to the Super Bowl. So that's going to be a fun division to watch. In the NFC West, I think we are all kind of sleeping on it a little bit, and maybe we'll start focusing in more as the season goes on, but I'm not sleeping on the Rams in this division. I am sleeping on the Seahawks. I don't see it with Geno Smith. I don't see the vision there. Sam Howell, I don't see that. Had Penix fallen past the Falcons and maybe the Raiders, if they were super interested or not, I don't know how legit those reports were that they would have taken him in the first round. I think they were more in the locks of and in the eyes of a Jaden Daniels because of Daniels working with Antonio Pierce back at Arizona State. But had he fallen, I think Penix would have made all the sense in the world staying in the state of Washington, obviously playing there in his college days and going to Seattle. But they got Sam Howell as the backup. They got Geno Smith, and we'll see. Is Drew Lock still over there? Where's Drew Lock these days? Where is Drew Lock? Giants. Okay, well, honestly, I'd probably rather see him than Daniel Jones. They're going to play Daniel Jones, but I don't think the drop-off is that significant. Have they go to a Drew Lock at some point in the season. So Arizona, another team in the NFC West. Hey, we'll see with Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr., man. If that combination is dynamic, I could see them, not as a player in the NFC West, but maybe for a wild card. We'll see. I like Jonathan Gannon, their head coach. I thought their defense played hard against the Niners last year. I thought everyone kind of knew they weren't going to be a very good team last year, and they played tough. Josh Dobbs, when he was a spot starter for them, played tough. So it's going to be the Rams and it's going to be the Niners for that division. And I'm not sleeping on the Rams. Not when you have Puka Nacua, not when you have Matt Stafford, not when you have Cooper Kupp. You can't sleep on that offense. It's nasty. It's deadly. Speaking of nasty and deadly, that's what a lot of people talked about the 49ers offense. Real quick before we get out of here, Fred Warner on Brandon Ayuk's situation and what's going to happen in training camp.
This is part of it, obviously when you're a part of such a talented roster, I feel like this is something that goes on every season, and it's a good issue to have because obviously that means that your players are performing at such a high level that, you have to have these kind of conversations, and it's part of the business. And so, obviously we all just let them handle that. And when he's back and we'll welcome him with open arms.
When he's back, he's back. Well, we'll see. And we'll monitor that situation. 888-957-9570. Start lining them up for Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky next in the Morning Roast. Have a good day, everybody.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game.